Hi everybody and welcome to the Fire Pit. Today we have an amazing player. Miss Kelly Fisher is joining us today. We're going to ask everybody to please do us a favor and give this a share to your page, to a local group, okay? And we want to thank you all for stopping in because without you, none of this would be possible, right? But we are very happy to have Kelly come on in, bridge the gap, and if you have some questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll try and get to those at the end. All right? All right. Okay, so we're going to bring Kelly in. Hi, Kelly. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. So I was just asking everybody if they could please share, and we hope that they do. Hello to everybody out there who's saying Carly McGee. I think you know Carly, right, Kelly?
Just missed each other at the last event, the World Championships in Milton Keynes. Unfortunately, I didn't get far enough through to her the day she arrived. But yeah, she's a great fan of mine and a great supporter of mine and pool in general. So thanks to her and all you out there for tuning in. And I look forward to this Fire Pit chat.
Thank you very much. All right. Yes, we welcome all of you, Kelly. Just yeah, absolutely. All right. So I was going to smack talk Kelly, but we're going to wait until the end of that so she doesn't leave. So what I want to do here is we're going to take, like I said, questions at the end. Hopefully we can get through a good majority of these. But first I'm going to show this. And this is 2007, okay? And right there, I had gold so long ago. I just want to show everybody that. Kelly was so gracious to stop and speak to me at that time. Her favorite song right there, if she had to pick a song, what would it be? Karaoke Complicated by Avril Lavigne. She took the time to walk around and sign a ton of these and autographs and everything for absolutely nothing, and with a smile on her face. That tells you a little something about Kelly right there. I just had to put that in there. I had to. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. I remember it very well. It was at Twin River in Rhode Island, and I'll never forget that. Never forget that.
Many moons ago, huh?
Yes, it's actually making me feel a tad bit old. So yes. So Kelly, what year did you start playing pool? And then what year did you start playing passionately? And then, of course, I want to know what year you went pro, if you can,
Yeah, well, let's have a think about this now. So I come over to America in 2004 and began to learn pool and started on a qualifying tour, the WPBA qualifying tour. So there was various ones all over the country, the Cat Tour, the Newt Tour, Arizona Tour, the Texas, there were so many. And I basically traveled around them all trying to qualify for different various WPBA pro events. And I stuck with the Cat Tour and the JP Newt. I managed to get #1 on that to qualify. Basically, that got me a full year on the WPBA. So that was 2004 I began. In 2005, I managed within that 1 year of coming over to get enough points to turn professional by the classifications of the WPBA. So yeah, it was 2004 arriving, 2005 professional.
Awesome. And do you remember who your sponsors were? Because I wanted to ask you about your sponsors right now. So I see you have something new there, End Zone. So do you want to go through the sponsors, how long you've been with them, and then welcome to End Zone and Kelly.
Well, basically I've been with Fury the longest. I was very fortunate in 2004 to actually, it's such a story, it's such a weird story, but basically it was by mistake. Somebody had told me that Fury were inquiring of me to maybe be a sponsor. And I contacted Fury to see if that, to see what they wanted to talk about. And they had no clue what this person was. They weren't looking for me. They weren't wanting to necessarily talk to me. But that conversation actually started our relationship, and they sponsored me right from the get-go. In July, I think it was June or July, July 4th it began, actually. I remember coming down on Independence Day. And it all began there, from that strange message that was incorrect. But they sponsored me from 2004. We did have a gap during that where I created my own line of KwikFire cues everybody will know about. And then we reunited, if you like, with Fury, mainly in China this time as opposed to America, in 2010, I think. So it's been a total of 16 years I've been with Fury.
Wow. So you have a great loyalty to them. And there's Carly saying hello. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, Carly. Absolutely. And then, recently, I say recently, it's been coming into 5 years now that I've been with Xingzhui. You pronounce it Xingzhui. I know some people might struggle with that. Xingzhui. Yeah, Xingzhui. Yeah, it's. But they're a table company over in China. And they make anything from snooker tables, Chinese 8-ball tables, and of course American pool tables. They're growing rapidly over there and doing great. And they're also such nice people. We've got another 3-year agreement. So maybe we're in year 6 now. I can't quite remember, but we've got another 3-year agreement going on. And it's been a wonderful relationship with them. They've been very good to me, and vice versa, hopefully. So. And then obviously, as you know, my new and latest sponsor, which we've done some promotion on, and that is In the Zone. And they're from good old America. I think they're from Chicago, Illinois. In fact, they are. And Jamal, the owner, it's been fantastic. Again, it was just a message on Facebook asking if I had a clothing sponsor. And I kind of thought, maybe it was somebody looking to talk about the way I dress, or even to talk about maybe giving me a few free shirts or something. But he's been absolutely fantastic, and the support he's giving me right now is really, really exceptional. And he's been easy to work with, and we're just beginning our venture together.
Oh, Kelly, you're cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think it's the buds that we're wearing. Kelly and I decided to wear some buds instead of me having my earmuffs on for the winter because it's hot. So sorry about that. So if you just want to repeat the last maybe sentence.
Yeah, we're just saying about In the Zone. Jamal, the owner, has been so easy to work with, and I'm looking forward to a new great future together with him, a new relationship, and a new venture, really. We've created a line of KwikFire shirts that I know Carly McGee has already purchased one. And they're all different cool designs, really nice material, and I'm really proud of them. We also have the GBR shirts that me and Alison Fisher wore for the World Cup of Pool. Cool. They're also on there. So we've got a cool range of clothing, and more to come probably. So I'm really excited for the venture with Jamal and In the Zone Sportswear.
Great. Well, congratulations. Well earned, well deserved. Absolutely. So I wanted to dig a little bit into the mind of you as a player. But I'm going to do that after I ask you, do you have a most memorable event? Now, it doesn't need to be one that you've won, one that's just most memorable to you, or even a couple that's most memorable.
Well, there's one where I've lost and one where I've won that stick out in my mind. Okay. And we'll start with the one that I won. It was the first Ladies World 9-Ball Championships, which was in China. And that was 2013. And we were playing in a shopping mall. And the funny thing about that was that I thought it was a race to 11. And it was actually a race to 9. And when I'm clearing the table to win the championships, but I don't know it. So obviously, maybe I would have dogged it if I knew it, but I cleared the table and went to get the balls out the pocket, and everybody's cheering and everybody's going crazy, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've won. Okay, yeah, brilliant. And it was like a delayed reaction. So that's one of the most memorable, especially with it being the World Championships. And of course, coming to America, coming from snooker and winning World Championships, my goal was to win the 9-ball World Championship, and that was the very first. So I'd won the 10-ball one the year before, or 2 years before, sorry. But I don't know. I mean, that was very special, don't get me wrong. And I remember that clear as anything. But the whole story going behind the 2013 9-ball World Championships is certainly makes it very memorable. So that's that one. And then the one that I lost was against Alison Fisher. And this was before that. It was in 2007, I believe, the US Open final, US Open Championships. And it was actually 2007. And I'd recently lost my mum, unfortunately. And this was my first tournament back. I'd missed the BCA due to that. And then I played in this at the end of the year at the US Open. And I got through to the final, and it was a race to 7 on ESPN. And I was 6-5 up, and I was clearing the table. I'm on the 8-ball, and I'd landed a little awkward. It's hard to explain without showing you, but I'd landed a little awkward on it into the side pocket. I'd landed too high, so I had to pop the 8, make the 8-ball, and come down off the bottom rail and back up again for the 9. Anyway, I did that, but I dug in a little too deep with too much draw, and I collided into the 9 with the cue ball. And unfortunately, the cue ball collided off the 9 and slowly crawled and dropped into the bottom pocket. And that was to win the US Open. And after that, it was hill, and Alison broke and ran to beat me in the final. And I just found that one I remember it didn't really matter win or lose. Well, maybe it did, but after losing my mum, I got quite emotional during the presentation stuff. So yeah, not in the match, after the match and during the presentation, actually, I got a little bit emotional. So that sticks out in my mind a lot, probably mainly because I lost, but ultimately behind that was the loss of my mum. And I just felt, I wanted to win it for her at that time. I remember that. But anyway, I came back stronger, and the next year I managed to win that tournament. So
and that was 2007?
The one that I lost was 2007, and I won it in 2008. So everything's a learning process, isn't it?
Yes. And you probably had some bottled emotions in there, even though you may not realize it. I mean, your mind really can only concentrate on one thing. It's like a computer, because it's like going back and forth. Even though you're in one program, there's things running in the background. So to get that far, especially after such, a tragedy, I know because I lost my mom April 24th, 2007. Yeah. So it's sitting there like that, and to get that far, and I know how you feel though. It's just that tiny mistake, that sliver that cost you a championship.
Well, I wanted it so badly. I think that that came into it. Maybe just the error crept in there, but it was a great match, and like I said, I learned from it, and that's the best way to take what you can from it, the positives from it. But yeah, I'd lost my mum in the May of 2007.
Wow.
So this was late year. So yeah, but no, they're the two most memorable, Gloria, to be honest. And of course, there's many, many more that are not far behind that, but they do stick out in my mind.
Got it. Yeah. I'm really sorry for your loss, but I'm happy that you have something actually good, a good memory to kind of offset. Like you said, you lost it then, you did amazing, but the next year you said, I came back even stronger. So
that's right.
So speaking of Alison Fisher, aside from myself, who would be your rival in pool?
Well, I've got to say, nowadays there's a lot of Asian players that a lot of you'll know, of course, and some that you don't know. But I would say probably at this moment in time, it's been that long since we've played at a world event. But I would say Simin Chen.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. We've had a lot of battles, and I've won plenty of them, and she's won plenty of them too. I'd say she's probably up on me really overall. So I would say she has to be my toughest rival at this moment.
Well, if you ever want a streaming match, I am more than happy to absolutely, positively do that for free. I offer it to every, this is going to sound so horrible, but every female player that comes on the Fire Pit chat has that if they'd like it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And again, thank you for being here.
No problem.
I remember back in 2005, you were sponsored by RT9 Apparel. I'm trying to think, Linda Palt, if
That's
I'm
right. Yeah.
Linda Palt. And ironically, here you are again with RT9, just a little bit of a different area. If I had some RT9 apparel, I'd send it out to you. But now you have End the Zone.
Yeah, I still have some from back in the day from Linda. Yeah, Linda, bless her, she still does some of her designs and some of her apparel too. But we ended up being great friends. We actually formed together, myself and Val and Linda and Morgan Steinman formed together KwikFire. And, it was cool. We had a great time doing it. It was fun. And ultimately great friends. So.
Yeah. And so that's, how long has that friendship been now with Linda? So that's 2005-ish? Somewhere in there, somewhere back, way back.
That's right. She had them gorgeous, the gorgeous artwork that she still does, and it's.
Yes.
I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal. Nobody can touch her on them. They're unbelievable, and she still does do them. Obviously, me living back in the UK, I don't get to see these girls as often as before. But no, Linda and Morgan, great friends to me and Val, and it's a great friendship we've had all them years.
Do you plan on coming back to the U.S. anytime soon? Just out of curiosity?
Well, I would love to be honest with you. I would love to come back tomorrow, but I've now from coming home, basically it started, we came home for family. My dad wasn't well and Val didn't get a green card and things like that. So it was meant to be. And then, we didn't know how long that would all change. So basically, we've ended up with a couple of businesses now. We've got a pool room here and just opened up a beer garden. So it's like an outdoor pub, if you like.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah,
it's doing really well. And the pool hall also is doing quite well overall. So it's not as simple. Obviously, Val's still got a dad here and stuff, and he's 84. So it's not just as simple as upping and leaving and
yes.
So it's something that potentially might happen, and would love to happen. I had a great time in America. I'd really miss it, but I don't think it's the right time just now.
Right. Well, we look forward to having you back here. I know I certainly do. It's been many decades since I've seen you, so that would be amazing to come watch again.
Well, I'm certainly coming back for the events. We've got some events started in September, so I'll be definitely back for them. There's 2 events in America in September for WPBA, and we've also got the US Open, Matchroom US Open, which I'm going to play in September too.
Oh.
So September and October, we've got the Hall of Fame banquet that I'm going to come over for, all being well that COVID stays away, and also got a possible 14-to-1 straight pool event that we're trying to get together for women at the World Straight Pool men's event coinciding. So I don't know if I'm saying that out of turn. I don't know if it's meant to be hush hush or not, but hey ho, if we can get more women involved, that'd be great. So that's what the plan is. That's the hope. So September and October, I'll be over in America a lot. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to follow you, and and hopefully get to see you again.
Absolutely.
So I want to also talk a little bit about, so like we were talking about the fire pit, and people ask me, well, what is the fire pit? What is the fire pit? And basically the fire pit is someplace that you sit around with a bunch of friends and you just have a chat, you have a discussion, it's a nice ambiance, it's a comfortable feeling, and that's what I wanted to kind of bring to the environment to pool to self, to billiards, to the sport, where we can kind of bridge the gap, as I've spoken about before, bridging the gap with professionals such as yourself, and then taking that and going, okay, let's get this, and let's talk about Kelly a little bit, and let's talk about the sponsors a little bit, and the basics of pool, and your life, and things that are memorable and important to you. But then I also wanted to talk about, just your thoughts about pool. I was going to ask, thanks. Carly McGee's grateful that she knows when you're coming. So what I wanted to ask you is, so here I can tell you, here in Rhode Island, in this part of the U.S., tours have grown amazingly quickly. And as I've said before, we've been around 14 years. But other tours are in play here. And it seems as though every place I look around, there is a tour or a tournament, sometimes 4 or 5 at night. And I remember going back sometime when you had, people were like, when's the next one? When's the next one? They're waiting and waiting and waiting. So it's really, really grown. But it's not grown in the way that, say, golf has. There's not that kind of money here in this industry, in this sport, because it's all of the above, really. I mean, so I wanted your thoughts on this, and I actually did write this down. So we're not placing blame or fault, but what do you think, like, is it tours? Is it sponsors? Is it players? What is it? Something that's multifactorial? What do you think may be holding us back? Or better yet, a better question to really phrase it positively is, what do we need, do you think? And this is kind of an on-the-spot question, I know, but to make this bigger and better, because pool really is a sport. It's a sport of endurance. It's a sport of the mental aspect of it is just really just huge. It's 90% of it. You don't have that mind-body connection. It's really lost. So what are your thoughts on pool today, now, and then now versus then? First and foremost, I guess. So now, when you first went back in 2005, like, how has it changed? What's going on? Like, just give me any thoughts that you have at all. You don't even have to answer those exact questions, but any thoughts that you have at all about, the sport.
Well, I think to try and answer all what you just talked about, I think that basically pool back in the day was doing much better. When I come to America, I do know that, I had to move to America in order to play on the WPBA tour. There was that many events, and to qualify, it was such a tough field, just in the qualifiers. And, I think that back then we had, like I said, we had 10 professional events per year, all in casinos, all filmed by ESPN. Yeah. And TV coverage was everywhere. And apparently before I even arrived, it was even more, there were even more events than that. So I think two things: that as pool as a whole, back then, what let us down back then was the fact that we had the movies such as Hustler, and, you can go on and on with movies where pool tables are involved in America. It always was in a smoky bar where there was fights and people hitting each other with cues, or if not, they were gambling and hustling, and so I don't think that did us any favors as a sport, to be honest with you. Great that we've got movies with pool involved, but I don't think overall it did us any favors for a sport, because I think if you spoke to anybody about sending their child to play pool, or their daughter even yet, back then they would have been like, oh no, because the thought of it being in that environment just isn't appealing, and it doesn't look like or feel like a sport. However, we all know that play the game, that it's not like that. And right. I would say in these years forward, it's actually becoming, when you look at the professional players now, It's actually, especially the guys now compared to the guys back then, no offense, anybody, but they're all training, they're all working out, they're all healthy. You can look at their physique in all the top men players now, and you can tell that everybody's treating this like a job. Everybody's treating this like a sport, should I say. If you go back the way and you look at the players back then, again, I don't want to mention any names, but I mean, you can look in, I've seen old pictures where they're quite, not necessarily in shape and not
Right.
looking very athletic, let's say.
Right.
So I think that if you look at the two things, I don't think that the movies did any favors, and like the stereotype of a pool hall that was brought to us did us any favors for being a sport. And I do think moving forward, that the players certainly are making the effort, treating it like a sport, being athletes, being true athletes, including on the women's side as well. And I think going forward, that should really, firstly, help the professional level, to attract, hopefully, your bigger sponsors, your outside the industry sponsors. And I think Matchroom Sport also are doing a great job to make it as professional as possible.
Right. Right.
They make it very professional. So I think that combined, we can hopefully look forward to seeing in a few years, us certainly maybe not being as up there with golf yet, but creeping toward that. And I really hope and pray for that. I might be too old to be part of it by the time it happens, but as long as it's moving in the right direction. Now, we've gone from from years ago to now, but in the middle of all that, I do think what happened was the WPBA were doing great. The economy, 2008, the economy, as we all know, in America got slammed.
Yes.
And I do think that really, really changed the momentum, of course, because for everything and everybody, not just pool, it had a big impact. And I don't think we ever recovered from that. And we still haven't, WPBA still hasn't recovered from that, although they are now growing toward that. Unfortunately, then we get hit with the virus, right? So
wow, yes, that was wow is all I have to say on that. One word.
Yeah, we were just starting to increase to get. Yeah, we're just starting to get four. Like we've gone from literally 10 events a year down to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2, and then we were starting to grow it back again, 2 to 4 to 6 the year of the virus hitting. So, now obviously we're back to square one. But in September, great news, we've got 2 events. So hopefully 2022, we can start seeing that going on the upward swing again. And yeah, I think that's basically summed up what you were saying. That's kind of now back to the league players or the players that are, doing it for the love of the game. I don't think there's anybody to blame, whether it's a promoter specifically, whether it's players specifically, or whether it's what it could be, sponsors specifically. I do think that that kind of, the way I've just explained that has been what's kind of been all corresponding toward our stunting the growth of it. But as well in America, as you know, there's not many young ones coming through. There's not enough compared to China. Now, why is that? Because all our events are played, not events as in professional events, but all our qualifiers and stuff are played in pool rooms. In some pool rooms you have to be over 21, and some pool rooms the families don't want them to go into pool rooms, again because of the stereotype of what they feel. So I think now that's starting to change, now that everybody and the players are doing a great job, I think, in making it more professional, more they're more athletic, they're being more athletes and treating it like a true sport that it is. And Matchroom and other big promoters, everybody, all the family of pool, all getting together to push this game, including yourself, Gloria. All trying to do the right thing for our sport. I think we'll get there.
Yes, I agree.
I think that it actually is starting to show too what she's talking about, because you're starting to see more youth players in America, where you didn't see that years ago.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the BF are doing a great job. So it's nobody's fault as such. I just think, the minute that we turn it into a professional sport, it's not about gambling. It's not about hustling. It's about training, working out, physically working out, and coming to the table and, train on your mental game, train on your physical body, and coming to the table and, enduring like we do in any sport. It's not physical.
That's just it.
Mental endurance.
Yeah, and that brings me to say, like Mika or the Hitman are like perfect examples of training and working out and getting in shape, for the endurance part of things. And, like you said, back then, if you were to take the average X age and X age, excuse me, and put them side by side and collage them, there is a significant difference. Now, I'm not here to talk about we're not here bashing anybody's physique in any way, shape, or form. We're
Absolutely
just simply
not.
stating a fact that over time people have realized that the endurance of this is such a big thing. Now, you also spoke about action, basically action matches and things of that nature not being, if I'm understanding this correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but that action matches aren't really they're very separate of the professional side of billiards. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no. Basically, I think that the gambling in pool rooms where the money's on the table is kind of a stereotypical thing.
That's what I wasn't sure of.
Don't get me wrong, it happens, and it does happen. It happens. It does happen, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that, like in golf, you don't hear of that. In tennis, you don't hear of that. And also, I've done it myself. Arranged money matches that we see all the guys playing and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because our sport doesn't, unfortunately, top players are not earning enough money. So we have to do things like that. I think there's nothing wrong with it, but also I don't think it's doing us any favors in the other way, because if you look at golf, tennis, you don't see any arranged money matches between the top players, Nadal and Federer. You just don't see it. They don't have to do it though. That's the thing. So it's like breaking the mold. It's the chicken or the egg. And I think all we can do is keep striving forward. And we were talking about physique and that. I'm the last person that can really talk about physique, because I've gone fat, skinny, and it's not about that. It's about the fact that you treat it as a job, the fact that you treat it professional, and the fact that you do train at something, working out in some way. I've always done that, regardless of my
for stamina. You're talking about stamina too. Yeah. And I've never seen you fat, Kelly. I can honestly say that. Please.
I really have. When I go to China, I'm the largest one there.
Well, that's just a difference in culture. That's all.
Well,
that's all.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's the truth, though.
To be honest with you, this lockdown's done me a great favor. I've been working out, and I've lost somewhere around about 33 pounds.
Yeah, you look great. I noticed it when I saw you on screen right away. I was like, wow,
I've really been working out.
It really depends. I mean, COVID is a horrible. It's really a horrific thing.
Absolutely.
However, it has really taught us so much about what we're missing in the world, and not being able to see people and not being able to play in tournaments, and how much pool players really rely on these tournaments and ESPN and all these things. So it's been a blessing, also a blessing in disguise, in my personal opinion. And it got me going virtual. 1 month after March, I was supposed to have my brother's memorial, and the pool hall, I canceled it because I thought it would be the right thing to do for the players. And before you knew it, they had closed down everything. A few days before it was supposed to happen anyway. And I said, well, I guess I did the right thing. But then I ended up 1 month later, April, I started virtual events. Like I was like, well, what do I do? I'm scrambling. I'm like, how do we keep the tour alive? And sure enough, OBS, this, learn graphics, learn this, where's Zoom? I should have taken some stock in that. But, you're scrambling, and then the next thing you know, virtual tournaments, kind of have
I love them. I love play. I'm very fortunate to have my own table at my house, because our pool room got closed down too. I could have, I suppose, gone in there just myself, but no, I'm very fortunate because a lot of people are not as fortunate to have a table. So for everybody out there that was lucky enough, the virtual events were a godsend. I loved every minute of them. And it was a bit unfortunate for the players that were out there that couldn't play in them just because they didn't have a table. So it was a shame. But yeah, the COVID has been, it's been such a...
It's sad, but in a way it was a blessing in disguise, to a degree, to some people. Yeah, we have to really pull the positives out of everything, because just looking at it as an outbreak, and I really don't even want to mention the words, but if you just kind of focus just on that, for me, it's like I probably wouldn't have the fire pit, and I wouldn't be here with you if COVID weren't around. So there's a blessing for itself, right?
Absolutely.
So when we were talking about the money and where it comes from, there's so many people that constantly discuss, the sponsors should be putting all this money in, and the sponsors, my question, I guess, or questions, and here we go again, or you know what, I'll just vent it out. Who sponsors? So you have your own sponsors, and then the tournament and tour directors have the sponsors. Or should it be paid by just the entry fees? Should we not worry about added money? These are all things, because people are always pointing fingers, virtual meeting.
I think, I do think that it's difficult because...
Where does golf get its money? Because I think people are going to start changing careers soon.
Well, the thing is, golf gets it from, they're on TV. The TV is a big thing, and then once you're on TV and they've got a golf channel, so once you're on TV, then you get the outside industry sponsors interested, because then it's all advertising, isn't it? Whereas right now, we're not on TV, and yeah, online is great, don't get me wrong, but it's still,
not the
and
same.
It's going to be probably, it's not the same, but it's probably going to be the future, but I still think TV will outsource it, if you like. So basically, what's happening is such as in golf, tennis, they're getting outside industry sponsors like Nike, Adidas, whatever, and we're not. So we've got to rely on our indie industry sponsors. So obviously, our in billiard sponsors, they're table manufacturers, they're balls, they're cues, they're table, I said tables already, or clothing, for example. But obviously, we all know there's not that much money in billiards. We're just talking about that. So how can they sponsor so much money? They can't. So
right.
Again, it's back to that chicken and the egg thing. Once we break out of that, where we do get some outside industry sponsors, then the doors will open, and we'll go flooding through them.
Good. Yeah, because it's difficult. We have so many, and everybody has an opinion as to why. But I sit there with my can of Pringles, and I'm mentioning Pringles again, so hopefully someone contacts me. I sit there with my can of Pringles, and and throughout the I gained 10 pounds myself, but I definitely needed it. And it's true. We have to go for a bit more of the, and that's and I'm just going to say it right here live. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm going to be going kind of outside the box now, because if I can go outside the box as well as within the sport, I think that we could really get some added money, to these tournaments, and really get some good payouts, and some payouts that the players really deserve, because if you don't play pool, Kelly can probably tell you what it's like to sit there 3-4 hours a day, drill, travel, get a hotel room, sit down in your seat for hours at a time. There's so much that goes into this. It's absolutely insane, and I really don't think that people realize how difficult it is, and physics, geometry, the understanding. And people always say, play the table, not the player, but someone's strategy or their strengths, so when you get up against somebody like, just say Allie, let's use Guy Young, because Guy Young started in three cushion, right? So, and you have a snooker background. You want to look at, or I personally do, and I want your thought on this. Understanding the diamond system, like Jennifer Beretta does with the diamond slicer from Kamui. So something like that. What are your thoughts on playing the table versus playing the player when you're in an in-person match? Do you ever look at like Allie and go, well, I can't really leave her. I have to leave her this save. These are three options. This is a higher percentage, but I know that she's more likely to do this. Does that ever run across your mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say my advice to anybody would be to play the table, because while you're on the table and in control, it doesn't really matter who's sat in the seat. So that's more or less for when you're running out. But if you've got a particular safety, then yeah, of course, you kind of know, or a push out. The two main things really are safeties or push outs, where you may place it in a certain spot because you know the weakness, or the way the player plays, or that's the only time really where I would think about the player. Other than that, while I'm on the table, it makes no difference who's sat in the seat, because they can't do anything to affect me and myself on that table. While they're still sat in their seat, I need to focus on myself to keep them there, right?
Right. Yep. I was just wondering if there was ever a time that you were in a match, and I know this is kind of a silly question, but that's what I do. And you're like, you know what, I want to play this safe, and that's the safe that you're comfortable with, and you know that you can do it, but you understand that person's on two, and they're going to end up making that hit because of the background that they have in pool. So you opt for a different safe. No,
not really. I always try and play the percentages. I look at the shot and play the percentages, to be honest.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey Bonnie, how are you? I guess we could is there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about, Kelly, in the industry, or any news that we maybe haven't heard of that you could divulge right here, and talk to us about anything at all that?
Well, I don't, unfortunately, I've not got much news apart from what I already said, which is great news. The fact that WPBA are getting 2 events, both in September, back on, to get that in such short time after the virus is still here. We all know everybody's still having the struggles, that coronavirus has caused. So the fact that we've got 2 events back on the schedule, that implies to me that next year will be an even better year than hopefully back 2020 was supposed to be. Hopefully we can catch that back up. And then we've got various events coming up with Matchroom. They're doing great, as we all know, but obviously, as we know, then open events, so it's not like designed or specifically for women, which makes it tougher for us women to go and really expect to win one. But we're trying. So, and then next year I'm hoping to see China open back up again. I've not heard anything. I don't know anything, and I've been told by some sources it's likely, and other sources it's not likely. I know they're looking to do a China Open again as soon as they can, but it's it's a bit unpredictable at times right now, because Taiwan, for example, Taipei is completely in lockdown right now. So you can't really have a world event unless you can bring world players, really. Matchroom did, and they managed to get most of the world, but again, the Taiwanese weren't there, the Chinese weren't there. So it's going to be tough, but I'm looking forward to hearing when China can actually start having events again, because as we know, they did some great events with great sponsors, outside industry sponsors. They managed to get through the government system. They work by the province. The government of that province basically is to do with the sponsors, and then they get outside industry sponsors. That's why the prize money is so good. So yeah,
Yes.
that's I'm looking forward to that. But again, I'm looking forward to the WPBA, and I'm looking forward to the Hall of Fame banquet, which should have happened in 2020, and unfortunately got delayed a year. I've still not had my banquet for my Hall of Fame, which is I'm looking forward to that honor, and that should be a great night. And
when is that happening? When is that
that's
happening?
in October.
October? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just
Yeah,
so
hopefully
everybody
all being
knows.
well. Yeah, hopefully all being well, and then hopefully we're getting this 14-to-1 straight pull event. So fingers crossed. But yeah, other than that, I've not got anything exciting to report, I'm afraid, everybody. But other than we're coming out of the worst, I hope, and hopefully we can
Yeah,
look forward to a
we
brighter
hope
future.
so. Yeah, we hope so. It's just a matter of really wait and see, because we never know. So,
Sure.
and I just wanted to send a quick shout out to Bonnie, because Bonnie Mitchell asked me, you should restart the WPBA qualifiers. Bonnie handed down the WPBA qualifiers, if she was handing down the WPBA qualifiers to me back in 2007, and I had to decline because I wanted my tour to grow. So you know what, Bonnie? I think that's a possibility. I guess I'll have to talk to somebody about that. Do you mind if we go through just a couple questions before we close out, Kelly,
Sure.
or a couple of comments?
Sure,
I'm just
no
going to
problem.
scroll up here. Pringles, please sponsor Gloria.
Yeah, I'm putting that up now.
Yes, that would be wonderful. A, I could use the weights, and B, we could use the money to do a great virtual tournament.
That's right.
All right, and you know what? I think I'm gonna, Bonnie. All right. Bonnie says she's in to restart it with me. I don't know. I already have something going for the amateurs, Bonnie. That's kind of on the DL right now. But let's see. All right, so let's go through some comments here. All right, so, and we know a couple of these people, of course. Hello to Eve. You know Eve. He's on Nate's a lot. I cannot pronounce his last name, even though he phonetically sent it to me. It's D. Mongiard, I believe. He's always in there. Carly McGee, right? We spoke about Carly earlier, so some love sent out to Carly as well.
Look, Carly.
Oh, Carly, look at that. 2:48 p.m. Look it. Isn't that great? Thank you for showing that,
Yeah.
Kelly. I appreciate that.
Callie got a friend of hers to draw that for me, and it's from when I was playing the Cue It Up Cup. And my little dog come in. Well, they asked me to bring my little dog. Her name's Baby. I brought her in and I just picked her up for the camera, and Callie took a screenshot and got her friend to draw that of me.
It's a great picture.
Yeah,
Great picture.
yeah.
Kelly and Baby by Carly. Yes.
That's right.
So we're talking here about hockey playoffs. You know what? I'm going to read it from. So we're talking here about hockey playoffs. My team since 1993 in Canada. All right. Just saw this notification. You just saw this notification. I put this up last week. People should be paying attention. We have Kelly Fisher here. All right. So Ron Richardson, he says hello. He's one of our tour members who also started following Cue It Up as well. So it sends a shout out to Cue It Up, who started also some virtual tournaments just some months ago that Kelly played in. So let's see, Brian Davis, another tour member. Hi, Brian. He says hello
Hi,
to
Brian.
Kelly. All right. Yes, dreadful heat and humidity is absolutely correct. And then we have Heather Licatos, who does not want me to mention who she was associated with, but a female pool player in the industry is all I can say before I get in trouble. Heather, she says, hey, Kelly, and she loves the fire pit chat, and that she's excited. Paulie
She's going to have to give me more clues than that.
Hi,
Heather.
Yeah. So then we have Paulie saying that this is a great job. Thank you very much, Paulie. We appreciate that. Yeah. So we already answered when you're coming back to the U.S. Pool, the most underpaid sport. I'm gonna have to concur with that. And then there's some talk here. So Mark Smith. Hey, Gloria. From Mark. We know Mark with the UK, right? All right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
big shout out
doing a great
to Mark
job.
Smith. Yes.
Absolutely,
Huge.
yeah.
Great guy. Virtual events were amazing. What does that say? Hope there are some more in the future. Yes, Heather, I'll be doing another women's event upcoming and another mix. So, pet rap. All
Cool.
right.
Excellent.
It says Paul has a bad rap because of a few bad apples. There's a few bad apples every place, Kelly. That's just life, right?
Absolutely. That's right. That's right. It's like any city you're in, any country you're in, any town you're in, there's always bad areas, isn't there? So, I mean, you're going to get that in any sport. I'm sure there's many in golf and many in tennis too, but we're just not grown to that level yet. We'll get there. We will.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And here we have, so Pringles, thank you. You know what? I think we should sign a petition. So we have Nate coming in saying, tuning in. Hi, Kelly, and all exclamation points. Why don't we just let's put that up. Let me put this up here. All right. So we're going to have to scroll across the screen, make it nice and personal for Nate. Just give it a second or two. Publish it. There we go. There's a few second delay. Then Heather's back. So we don't really look like we have any pool related. Oh, Carly just chimed in. The drawing is great. Let's pin this up. All right. And there's Nate.
Hey, Nate. It's been a while. When's Nate getting another virtual Cue It Up Cup event? That's my question to him.
He said, I feel special. Oh, you are special, Nate. Yes, you certainly are.
And by the way, Gloria, that's great. You've got some more events coming up. That's great for your players. It really is, because it's so important. It's so important. It's like right now, I've been away playing the matchroom events, so that's been great. I mean, you can't beat. I was so excited to actually have a real event, but now that I've come back, it's been already 3 weeks. I think 2.5 weeks since I've been back, and I'm like, what can I do? There's nothing till September, and I'm like, I'm going to play the GB9, I think, in the end of July. But other than that, there's nothing going on. I mean, let's get some virtual events going. I really enjoyed that too. So why not?
Well, I'm going to be restarting virtual events. And I've always been, we talked about the fact that I've always been amateur. But I'm going to see if a couple of the females want to join in and play against the amateurs and kind of mix it up with a little bit of a pro-am. And yeah. I mean, we'll see what the payouts look like. But we get enough. I'm willing to sit behind the computer and definitely do it. So, question for Kelly right here, Heather, the one that we spoke of. How did you acquire your monstrous break?
Oh, well, thank you for that comment. I don't really feel like I've got a monstrous break, to be honest with you, and I'm forever working on it still. But from playing snooker, I really come to pool not having a clue how to break, or we never broke the balls like that. So I learned just by watching some videos by a few friends, Kim Shaw, Tiffany Nelson, if you remember them back in the day, showing and helping me. I had a guy in New York, I was very, very lucky, called Mikey Naps, and he actually coaches Emily Duddy right now.
Yeah.
And he spent a lot of time with both myself and Val, and he helped me with that. But again, it took a lot of practice. I remember about 18 months it took me just to even feel like I could break with control. And, I put a lot of time in. And even still now, I'm still working on the break. Still, honestly, yesterday I was still working on my break.
So you just break, re-rack, break, re-rack.
Well, no, I don't actually. I go through phases. I'll do about 10 and then I get fed up of the re-rack. So then I'll do the break and run out and re-rack. But I'm just focusing on different. I've got the break rack too, which I do use sometimes, where you don't have to rack the balls. Just if I'm focusing on my technique, So, but the only thing that doesn't show is the cue ball control, realistically, because you're not breaking the balls. So depends what I'm working on the break. But yeah, it's a hard one to practice because of that setup. So the break rack is great.
But if you had somebody on the other end of the table who just kept re-racking for you, it wouldn't be so bad, right?
I do sometimes have my friend. Unfortunately, here in the UK, there's not that many players, or not that many into nine ball. It's more really snooker or English pool. So I do miss that. You know, in America, I could get a lot of people would help me out, but here I've got a few friends.
I'd rack.
But
I'd rack.
thank you. I'll fly you over here, Gloria, and you can bring your computer.
You heard? Replay. You heard that. So another question for Kelly. So many WPBA players, past and present, are APA operators. So Ava, I guess, is a perfect example, right? Yeah. Have you ever considered that? And that's Todd. He's a tour player from, gosh, probably 12 years ago in the tour. So Todd Nevins, a friend of mine, he asked so many people, have you ever thought about that? That's a really good question.
I have thought about that, and I was sponsored by the APA, the Charlotte Metro APA. I lived in North Carolina and lived in the Charlotte area, and I was sponsored by them. So I'd thought about it, but obviously they were sponsoring me. I couldn't go for that one. But you know, it's a lot of work. It's not as simple as just I'm a player and I want to have my own league. It's a lot of work and a lot of time and hours. And to be honest with you, when I were in America, I was too busy still working on my game, winning tournaments. I didn't want really too much distraction from that. Yeah. So
it detracts.
It's something now that I'm getting older, that if I was in America right now, that would be definitely something I'd be looking into. Yeah. But if I end up back there, you never know.
Yeah. Well, Bonnie Mitchell, she was the WPBA director out here. She said that she'll carry my bags for me. So we're all set, Kelly. Anytime we're going to be starting up and we see you in America, we're going to have a WPBA event.
Absolutely.
Come on over.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll have to come on
of course we have some people to talk to and go through, but we'll do it. Even if it's not, we have to have another women's event. At least 3 or 4 more by the end of the year, and one of them I want to be big. Gloria for president. I like that a lot, but I don't know, take away from me right here being with Kelly. So Kyle, when does Kelly have plans of being in the U.S. again? That would be September, October. Planned stop in the Midwest area for Central Time fans. And Mark Smith is willing to carry your bags. So we are really all set. Is anybody willing to bring Pringles? That is the question. Let me know right here, right now, before we go completely out. I want to know who's bringing the Pringles. And Kelly, what's your advice?
I just want to know who's carrying my bags. First of all,
there you go. She just said, get my bags. She's not asking for a foot rub. She's not asking for a pedicure or manicure. She just wants someone to carry her bags.
No,
Easy.
I don't. I want somebody to rack the balls. That's what I want.
There you go. And a racker, a good racker. Can't just be anybody. Wow, all the questions are coming in now that we're ending. Kelly, I was seeing you around. Allie, Pally in early December. Okay, yes, so neat. Okay.
Yes, the Moscone Cup. Yeah, the Moscone Cup. I will be going there, hopefully, yes. So I'll see you there.
All right. Kyle Boutte will bring the pickles. Yes, Nate. I understand that Kyle will bring the pickles. Yes, yeah. Kyle actually was an event sponsor for my last virtual. But I said
he won the raffle for pickles, didn't he?
Yeah, but you could have pickle flavored Pringles, but I don't eat those. I like sour cream and onion, cheddar and ranch. Just throwing that out there to anybody.
Gloria, if you got the sponsor with Pringles, you'd have to eat those. You'd have to eat any of them. That'd be okay. I'd eat them for you if we got a sponsorship from Pringles.
Kelly, I'm telling you, this is all recorded, Kelly. I'd be really careful. So Kelly and I, pick-up favorite shifts are horrible. Kyle, I'm just throwing that out there with a joke. I personally am not a fan, but if they're going to put money in my tour, I will throw a few right down. That's what I have my water for. So in my experience, yes, the first beer is on you, Kelly.
No
Nate.
problem. Ali Pali.
All right. So we've taken so much time. Kelly, thank you. Time is to me, it's my most precious commodity, and I say that to everybody. And I thank you so much for taking more than anything the time that you have, your precious time, here, and spending it with me and the viewers. And like I said, bridging the gap in a nice, fun conversation where if I had a table right here, right now, I would probably challenge Kelly to a little bit of a game, because I like it to be educational too. I did that with Lil Chris, where we had an interview and then we played a virtual match against each other.
Excellent.
So do you think that I'm putting you on the spot, but there's potential
For that?
the next time we get together that you and I just go virtual, and we see how many, in just say maybe 8 racks of virtual, we see if you could beat me by, say, I don't know, 100 points.
100 points. Well, I'm not
It doesn't
gonna
even,
do
it's
that
more
for
than
that.
100 points, but no, you probably would. Where was the 10?
No, how could I? In 8 racks, it's impossible. But
That's what I said. I said it's even more than that. You can't even. But I'm sure that Kelly.
You'd have to play her. She'd have to be blindfolded, so to make it fair.
No, she's going to be playing blindfolded
come on
and
now,
opposite-handed. And opposite-handed.
Gloria's a great player. Come on now. But
She-
yes, Gloria,
she
we
is.
can look at doing that. All right.
Oh, stop, Kelly. But yes, thank you. I appreciate it. My job isn't really that of a player, but it's here to try and, like I said, to bridge the gap and to do as much as I can here for the players, for you guys, for my sponsors, for other sponsors, for the sport in itself, and make it the best that it can be. So.
That's fantastic. Well, we all appreciate it, Gloria.
Okay,
including
thank you,
us
Kelly.
players. So I'd really
Yes.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Kelly. Well, we appreciate you, and I will be reaching out again, and maybe this time we can do something a little bit different. I have some ideas in mind. So Kelly's
Just let
like,
me
oh,
know. Not a problem.
lordy, huh?
I don't know what I'm agreeing to. You let me know.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and again, congratulations on In the Zone.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah, I look forward to seeing more. You'll all see more of them. But thanks, Gloria. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
everybody.
All right.
Lovely to chat with you guys, and lovely. Thanks to all the fans.
Thank
All
you, and yes, to the fans, absolutely. And stay safe, Kelly. We'll see you soon.
Yes, you guys too. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
So long.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Fire Pit, where we bring billiards to your door. Please join us again soon.